Hello everyone. Let us begin with the session of estimation and costing. I am Himanshu Sharma from Civil Engineering Department of Maharaja Agarsen University. So before starting this session, we need to have a knowledge about some basics definitions of estimation and what is an estimate. So starting with what is an estimation. So estimation, as you can see, is the process of calculating the quantities of various items of the work involved in the project. So that means all the items which are involved in a construction of a project, we need to calculate the quantities of each and every item, and that activity is known as estimation. Now, what is an estimate? There is a difference between estimation and estimate, right? So estimate is a document which furnishes the quantity of different works involved, their rates, and the expenditure anticipated in a project. So this is the basic definition of estimation and an estimate. Now coming up to the next point, then why it is necessary to calculate an estimate? Why can't we skip this part? Why there is a requirement of calculating an estimate? So here are a few points that shows us what is the requirement of, or what is the necessity, or what is the importance of calculating an estimate. First of all, to know about the approximate cost of the building construction, to calculate the tax of the building, to fix the rent of the building, to know about the various items of works involved in the building construction and arrange the available material for the construction, to arrange the labor for the construction project works, to take the approval for the government projects, to have the loan from the bank. So these are few points. So let us discuss these points now. So if I have to start a project, right? If I have to start a new project, I am the owner, I am the developer. So first of all, I need money to start the project. For that money, I need loans, or I need stakeholders or shareholders. So for that, I need an estimate, right? If I don't have an estimate, how do I calculate the cost of the project? If you have to quote for a project, if you have to construct a government project, again, you have to be very specific about the project cost so that you can quote the tender. Now, coming up, the project has been started. To calculate the building cost, to calculate the building taxes, again, you need to know the estimate of that work, of that specific item of work, of that construction activity. Suppose we are going for a concreting work, so you need to know the cost of the cement, raw materials involved in the concreting of the building, and also the cost of labor, right? So all these costs, including all these costs, or you need to know all these costs to calculate the exact estimate of that activity or of that project. Now, what are the data required for preparing an estimate? There are some few data which are required to prepare an estimate, and they are very necessary. Without these data, one cannot prepare an estimate. First is drawings. Obviously, if you don't have the drawing, you don't know the area, you don't know the dimension, so the making estimate is not possible. So we need to have detailed drawings of the work for which the estimate has to be done. Second, the specifications of the work for the estimate. Suppose I have to make a house, so I need to know which quality of brick I have to use, which quality of cement, which quality of tiles, which quality of stones, either it is stone cladding or it is granite or it is tiles. So I need to know detailed specification of the work which has to be carried out. Only that, and then I can make a correct or detailed estimate. The next is material rates. Obviously, you need to know the material rates. What are the current material rates in the market, without which one cannot make the estimate of the project. Now, second is labor rates. So these are the four things that are must for making a detailed estimate of any project, right? So repeating all this. First is your detailed drawings of the project. Second, the detailed specifications of the work. Third is material rates. That should be current material rates and current market rates. Oh, sorry, labor rates. Now, there are few types of estimates which are generally done in estimating and costing. The first one is preliminary estimate. We'll come to the details of the estimate on in a minute or so. Let us first see what are the various types of estimates. The second is approximate estimate. Third one is detailed estimate. Fourth is supplementary estimate. And fifth is revised estimate, right? Preliminary estimate, approximate estimate, detailed estimate, supplementary estimate, and fifth one is revised estimate. These are few basic types of estimates, although there are some more types of estimates as well if you go in detail, but these are the basic types of estimate. Now, coming up to details, a preliminary estimate is made in an early stage of the project, very starting stage of the project, to determine whether the project is feasible or not. You need to know, do I have that budget? Do that I have that tentative cost, or will I be able to complete that project in the specific cost which I want, right? So for all these details, the estimate carried out is known as preliminary estimate. It is based on preliminary drawings and sketches. There are not, these are not the detailed drawings. At the starting of the project, we don't have detailed drawings. We only have basic drawings which we require, or just like the plan, the elevation, we don't have sections, or we can say we don't have, interior details. So these are superficial drawings and superficial details which we have, and we don't even have the time to make all the details and details in the starting of the project. So it is based on preliminary drawings and sketches, and it is usually done in a short time. The accuracy of a preliminary project is generally up to plus minus 20%. So in other words, we can say the cost of the preliminary project can vary up to 20%. Either it can go up, either it can go down, depending upon the detailed specifications of the project or detailing in the project. The next one is approximate estimate. So an approximate estimate is made when the project is still in the planning stage and more details are available than the preliminary estimate. You can say this is the second stage of estimate which we do. The approximate estimate is usually based on a general plan and some detailed drawings. The accuracy of an approximate estimate is generally within plus minus 10%. So the accuracy, as we have more drawings, the accuracy of our estimate will increase, right? So for preliminary estimate, the accuracy was plus minus 20%. So the cost of the project, cost of the estimate can vary 20% up or 20% down. And for approximate estimate, which is the second stage estimate, we can say the accuracy is 10%. The third one is a detailed estimate. The detailed estimate is made when the project is well defined and detailed drawings and specifications are available. As I told you, in preliminary estimate and in approximate estimate, we don't have detailed drawings. We only have superficial drawings. The preliminary estimate and approximate estimate are made on the basis of those drawings only. The time we have detailed estimate, now we can have a well-defined, the time we have detailed drawings, now we can have a well-defined estimate, which will be obviously more accurate than other two estimates. A detailed estimate is based on the actual quantity of material, labor, and equipment required to complete the project. The accuracy of the detailed estimate is generally plus minus 5%. As I told you, it is more than approximate preliminary and approximate estimate, right? Now coming up to next, that is supplementary estimate. A supplementary estimate is prepared when there are change in the project scope or unforeseen condition arises during construction. Suppose I have to make a project, but suddenly the market has a demand of luxury interiors, right? If I'm talking about a group housing project, but very basic project, a group housing project, we are talking about, we are going for a very basic interior at that time, but till the construction got started, we got delayed, or due to some reasons, due to some market changes, due to the some changes in the area, the demand of that project increased. So now we want a luxury housing to be added. So in that case, supplementary estimate will be done. So now we have some more set of products or luxury item which need to be added, which were not added in detailed estimate previously. So a supplementary estimate is prepared when there are changes in the project scope or unforeseen condition arises due to construction. It is based on revised drawings and specification and includes the cost of additional work, change in the material quantities, and any other any other additional cost. See, a very good example for this type of condition is, suppose we started a project before COVID, right? And as you all know, and then something happened and the COVID arrived, the project got delayed. Now the cost of the material increased, but we have not taken that increment, that huge increment in our detailed project report, sorry, estimate. So now we need to do a supplementary estimate for that thing. Or suppose we didn't had any government approval for any part of the building or any specific work of the building, we need to change that work, or we need to change that part. So all these changes will be done under the supplementary estimate part. Now next is revised estimate, right? A revised estimate is prepared when there are significant changes in the original project, such as change in scope, material, and labor cost. This is very much similar to the supplementary estimate. The only part is this is also a revision and that is also a revision. Only conditions, a few conditions vary between these two estimates, but the scope or the outcome of both the estimate is same. We need to revise the estimate, right? The revised estimate is based on new drawings and specification and includes the cost of all the change made to the original project. So each type of estimate serves a different purpose in the construction process, and each estimate has its own level of accuracy. Choosing the right type of estimate for the project is important to ensure that the project is completed on time and within budget. So basically, the first three types of project, which I just discussed, were preliminary, approximate, and detailed. These are mandatory estimates, we can say. These have to be done depending upon the various stages of the construction. And talking about the supplementary and revised estimate, these estimates are required if and when the condition arises. Now, what are the various methods of estimate? There are basically two methods you must have known. The first one is long wall, short wall method. In this method, the wall along the length of the room is considered to be a long wall, while the wall perpendicular to the long wall is said to be a short wall. Suppose we have a rectangular room, so the longer wall will be considered as the long wall and the shorter wall will be considered as the short wall. But this is only in the case of if there is only rectangle. But in actual conditions, if we go for a plan of a building or if we go for a plan of a house, we don't have only rectangles. We have a full plan, right? So we need to identify very accurately which one is to be termed as long wall and which one to be termed as short wall for the proper estimate. To get the length of the long wall or short wall, calculate first the center line lengths of individual wall. Then the length of the long wall, that is the outer dimension, may be calculated after adding half breadth to each end of the center line. Suppose we have 10 feet wall and with a 9 feet width, right? So the center line length is to be calculated first, and then to complete its length, the half of the width is to be added. Thus, the length of the short wall is measured in and may be found by deducting half breadth from the center line length of each end. The length of a long wall usually decreases from earthwork to brickwork in structures, while the short wall increases, right? So you need to know this point very clearly. I am repeating this point once again. The length of a long wall usually decreases from earthwork to brickwork in superstructure, while the short wall increases, right? These lengths are multiplied by breadth and depth, and we'll get the quantity of that work. Now coming up to the second method, that is central line method. This method is suitable for walls of similar cross sections. Suppose we don't have a similar cross section, then we need to go for long wall short wall method. But to save time and our effort and energy, if there is a similar cross section building, suppose again in case of group housing, if we have 4 flats similarly placed, so we need to go for central line method, and we can calculate very fast the estimate of the whole project by this method. Here the total central line length is multiplied by the breadth and depth of the respective item to get the total quantity at a time. When cross walls, partitions, or veranda wall joins with the main, all the central line length is reduced by half the breadth of each junction. Such junction or joints are studied carefully while calculating the total center line. So because see, the main part of this method is calculating the center line. If you don't calculate the center line clearly, the whole estimate will be ruined. So to calculate accurate estimate, you need to calculate central line method or central line of the drawing very carefully, the length of central line. The estimate prepared by this method are the most accurate and quick, as I told you. Now, here are some few details of measurement. The complete work is divided into various items of work such as earthwork, concreting, brickwork, RCC, plaster, etc. These are very few quantities in a project, or in actual practice, there are n number of quantity which need to be calculated, and these are very major works, we can say, major items which are present in the work. The detail of measurements are taken from drawings and entered in respective column of prescribed performa. The quantities are calculated by multiplying the values that are in number column, depth column as shown below. See, this is the measurement sheet which we have. Now in the description part, now let's see the columns first. First is item number. Next is your description, then number, then length, width, height, and last one is the quantity. Sometimes we also have a remark section so that we can make a remark if and when needed. But this is the general sheet which is generally used in practice. So in item number, we generally write the number of items, its serial number, and description of work, whether it is a brick work or it is a RCC work or it is a plaster work or it is a earth work or any other work. Number will be the number of, you can say, units, the number of work which need to be calculated. If we are calculating earthwork for a wall and there are 4 typical walls for the same length, so number will become 4. If there are 2 walls, number will become 1. Oh, sorry, 2. If there is only 1 wall, the number will remain 1. Then we'll enter the length, width, and height, whichever is required. And calculating, multiplying all these, we will get the quantity of the work or of that particular item. Now, next comes the abstract of the cost. We have made a detailed quantity estimate. We have the quantities now, but we don't have the amount. So to calculate the amount, this abstract sheet is required to be filled and calculated. The cost of each item of work is worked out for the quantities that already computed in the detailed measurement form, which we have seen earlier. But the total cost of work out, the total cost is worked out in the prescribed form is known as abstract of estimate form. This is the abstract of estimate form which you are seeing in the screen. So the columns are item number, description, quantity. This quantity will come from the previous form, right? Unit, the quantity is in which unit, square meters, cubic meters, square feet, cubic feet, whichever unit it is. Then the rate per unit and amount. So quantity multiplied by the rate will get the amount, and making a total of amount of all the items of work will get the amount of that particular project, right? So this was the basic introduction about the estimating and costing. If you need to have any discussion or any queries, you can always contact me. I'm Himanshu Sharma from Maharaja Agha Singh University, head of the department, Civil Engineering Department. And thank you for the session. Thank you.